After a night of philosophical insomnia, a professor is visited by a mysterious man claiming to be God. To prove his divinity, they embark on a cosmic journey across universes. The creator reveals infinite universes, parallel worlds, and cosmic secrets. Yet among all creation, humanity remains unique for one reason. That reason is free will, a power so profound it defies even divine prediction. And it's here that our story continues.
But then you cannot see my future? You don't know what will become of me?
I can predict your future. I can see the outcomes if you maintain your current trajectory, whether you will achieve your goals. I can foresee potential victories and defeats, but you possess the capacity to change everything. Your opinions, objectives, actions. You can circumvent challenges, transform defeat into victory, or end your life in an instant if you so choose. I cannot predict these spontaneous changes in thought and action. At best, I can foresee the potential consequences of your decisions. Predestination is a real and clear force in the universes, but you hold a unique freedom within cosmic history, a liberty in space-time. You are not predestined.
Wait, so you ceased to be omnipotent because of us?
Not precisely. I could revoke free will at any moment, restore this universe's predictability, revert time, and modify the past so you never existed. But I have watched humanity for eons. I have been close to you since your inception. I saw the inherent goodness, the positive aspects of your interactions, though I also witnessed profound negativity. I contemplated your total annihilation. I refrained for one simple reason. I gave you free will. You are responsible for your actions, for your own futures.
Hearing him speak positively of humanity ignited a burning anger in my chest, a fire in my throat.
You claim we have positive aspects? Humanity is a catastrophe, I shouted. That's why I can barely sleep. That's why I was tormented by questions when you appeared.
The man's expressive face went blank, his features neutral as he endured my outburst.
You are not wrong, he said, but there are also exemplary individuals. I chose to let you all live, to write your own stories, paths, choices, dreams, and plans. Your history contains many virtuous deeds.
Could you not make an exception? Humanity has produced countless monsters.
The man turned slowly, his gaze piercing as he closed the distance between us. A tremor ran through me. I felt nauseous. The depth in his eyes stole my breath, a sensation of drowning in an infinite black sea.
An exception? I must show you certain truths about humanity.
Another mental snap. I was now flying over a churning sea, an expansive beach below, waves crashing violently. Beyond the sands, a dense forest stretched into the distance. A paradise, yet devoid of any visible life, only pristine nature.
We are on Earth, the man stated, taking the lead. A short time before your creation. Now you will witness your own genesis. You will see that humans are distinct and special, fashioned by my hands.
I saw the same man, God, kneeling by the shore, working intently with some material.
Some might call this clay, but it is not. It is the very essence that constitutes your body. You understand the complexity of the human form. For every part, every minute detail, I engineered a new type of matter, ensuring perfect construction. Cells, DNA, proteins, all originated from my hands.
I watched days and nights cycle rapidly as the man fashioned figures from the material, countless static dolls laid out on the ground. The sight was unnerving, a horrific tableau of lifeless bodies without a drop of blood.
You have heard of the
breath of life. It was not a breath. I simply commanded them to rise.
A powerful wind swept through the trees, a gust that struck me with force yet did not push me. I watched the lifeless bodies tremble and be set upright by the invisible force. I realized they were all now conscious, their eyes fixed on their creator. Their vacant stares unnerved me. I walked among them, looking into their eyes. They were hollow, devoid of vigor or life. Their breath was cold, touching one revealed skin like ice. They're all dead, an agonizing vision, standing but utterly empty.
With my hands I created them. With my omniscience and omnipotence, I granted them autonomous thought and decision-making. I gave them the freedom to act as they wished. My only command was to be good. I taught them to care for their world, to multiply. This was the first nation.
A wave of warm air passed through them. Their eyes fluttered, and they turned to look at one another, then moved toward the man who had made them.
Now you witness free will. This is the core of human life. It originated from me, and thus life exists within all.
Time accelerated, faster than before. Men and women multiplied, spreading across the land. The man walked among them, instructing them at every step, teaching them survival.
You have likely heard of Adam and Eve. It is a widespread story among your people, but a severely limited account. The knowledge of those who first recorded it was insufficient to comprehend what you have just seen and what I will show you now. I instructed a man to use his own language to describe creation events intelligibly for his people and his time. You will now observe from a different perspective. I will take you to the dawn of human corruption, to the fruit of knowledge of good and evil.
Holding my hand as we flew, he guided me toward a forest of immense trees. In the distance, a clearing amidst a sea of leaves, flowers, and fruits. Soon, I hovered above a group of men and women mingling near their huts.
Primitive as they were, they possessed basic survival knowledge. I taught them to build, hunt, farm, and coexist.
Sunsets and sunrises flickered past in seconds, until time froze. I descended near a hut where a woman sat at its entrance. Everyone was motionless, statues in our presence.
You may not have noticed, but this woman spent most of her time guarding this hut. She was hoarding something.
Inside, I found a chaotic pile, animal skins, stones, jewels, tools, and food crammed together, leaving little living space. Why this disarray? And why her constant vigil?
Had she produced these things herself, concern would be unnecessary. But this woman was the first to taste the infamous fruit of knowledge of good and evil. She awakened greed within herself.
So she was the first to covet what wasn't hers? To desire everything she saw? I can imagine her methods.
Months prior, she noticed an empty hut. Peering inside, she saw valuable animal skins. She coveted them. I wish I could have these for myself, she thought, and desire consumed her. You possess the knowledge of good and evil. You choose your path for convenience or pleasure. Good and evil have coexisted in human nature since the dawn of free will. The fruit described in your texts, which granted knowledge of benign and malignant, is merely the intention to transgress. I imposed rules for harmonious living, but erected no barriers to prevent their breach. Her intent to steal was the first bite. One night, she entered the hut, snatched the skins, and fled. With every step toward her home, she devoured the fruit. Her heart raced, adrenaline surged. She reveled in the thrill. She had obtained her desire easily, with minimal effort.
And you witnessed this?
I see and can review anything I wish at any time, as often as I desire.
And you allowed it without intervention?
She is free to act as she pleases. Remember, this is a society. They organize themselves intelligently.
That same night, as the woman arranged her spoils, a man entered. He found her lying on the skins, confused. He asked her where she had hunted and how she had preceded the hides so quickly. He knew it was impossible. The woman arose, embraced him, and led him to lie with her, promising explanations later. They spent the night together on comfortable skins. At dawn, the man reminisced about their pleasure. The man, still uneasy, inquired about the skin's origin. She confessed. The man was conflicted. He knew it was wrong, but the memory of the night's passion clouded his judgment. Seeing her happiness, he wavered. "You see, he is succumbing to her desire. Now is the time to intervene, to prevent this error from going unpunished."
I witnessed it all. I know their heart's intentions, but it was their choice. I cannot interfere directly.
Why did you do nothing? Human evil was born there and you merely observed?
They are in possession of free will. As creator, I will not destroy the first society for that reason. Had I intervened, the same corruption would have emerged in others, perhaps with worse consequences. When man contemplates actions contrary to my teachings, he consumes the fruit and learns the power of evil. This fruit is always within your reach. If not these two, others would have succumbed.
So you created man doomed to self-destruction?
No, I created man doomed to choice. These two erred, the others did not.
Then the solution is simple. Execute the wrongdoers and make an example for the rest.
Analyze your words. Recognize their destructive and malevolent nature. Your justice could become injustice, depending on its application. Not everyone is corrupt. There are many exemplary individuals. I observed all interactions and contributions. I allowed society to devise its own solution. My method was to reveal the truth to the victim.
A man entered the hut. The couple was caught unprepared, desperation on their faces. The victim did not act violently. He simply asked why his skins were there.
Their minds were laid bare before the man they had wronged. He questioned them about his property, and they had no defense. Returning the stolen goods was their only option.
I saw the man, God, enter after the victim, asking what he wished to do with the couple. The victim requested secrecy and proposed exile as punishment. All agreed. A lenient punishment. Why not eradicate the evil at its root? Your decision absorbs the blame.
I cannot take their lives. They deserved a chance to atone. The victim showed great wisdom. I did not absorb blame. I supported the least disruptive outcome for a society yet untainted by bloodshed. Had the victim chosen differently, his will would have prevailed. The community would have learned of the crime, and blood might have been spilled. Did you notice the victim had not eaten the fruit? His heart held no thirst for vengeance. However unjust it may seem, his choice brought him peace. He does not carry the weight of another's death.
I watched the couple slip away under cover of night, disappearing into the forest, distancing themselves from society. Now that they are isolated, what became of them?
They lived on society's fringe. Over time, they maintained distant contact with their former people, but never risked reintegration.
So they reformed their ways?
No, their chance for redemption was squandered.
The man raised his hand, bitter resignation on his face. He snapped his fingers. Instantly, I was among them again. The couple was sneaking into others' huts, stealing whatever they found, hiding in the shadows. They continued their ways. Impossible that they escaped punishment. You still do nothing?
Their actions are their own responsibility. A fundamental truth of existence is that you reap what you sow. Observe.
The scene repeated endlessly.
Now I noticed they had children who grew up witnessing this behavior. Time halted.
Today they are caught stealing again, but the outcome differs.
A villager approached, seizing the woman's arm. They were isolated in the forest, away from the village. He accused them of theft. The couple faced a dilemma: return the goods and flee, or use force. Both options flashed through their minds. One prevailed. The man snatched a stone and hurled it at the accuser's head. A cry echoed. A body fell. They fled in opposite directions. Soon other villagers appeared, spotting the woman fleeing. They pursued and captured her.
Behold the fruit of their actions. They conceived evil from the fruit consumed long ago. The first homicide.
What happened to the husband?
He hid, observing the events. He witnessed his companion's tragic execution days later.
Why didn't you reveal his location? Both should face justice.
By then, I was no longer among them. My presence might have altered the outcome. It was inevitable that evil would naturally arise in the human heart. Greed and the allure of advantage over others prevailed. I attempted to guide those who embraced darkness, to steer them from twisted thoughts. But a leader emerged among them, an ordinary man with a powerful mind and a silver tongue. He incited the people to expel me from their midst. That moment marked the turning point in early human history.
This is absurd. You're God, the creator, omnipotent, omnipresent, omniscient. You could have demonstrated your power and changed everything.
Had I done so, society would never have formed. You would lack free will, living predestined lives without perspective or evolution. So I withdrew. I watched from afar, awaiting the day you would remember, seek, and re-accept me.
You are a disgrace. You planted a bomb on Earth and abandoned it. This is cowardice.
That exact sentiment first arose in the mind of that leader before my departure. He convinced the people who lacked my power that my knowledge was beyond their grasp. I never taught them to be my equals, for they could never occupy my state. They desired equality, but could not achieve it. This leader is sometimes called the devil, but he was merely a corrupted human from the first society. A single corrupt leader can poison an entire generation. The ultimate proof.
What of the righteous? What did you do for them?
I could do nothing. They accepted the new society's terms. Separated from me, the first society was destined to fracture. Death became a permanent reality, hence that woman's execution.
Unacceptable. You possess the power to change everything, yet you refuse.
Change will come in time, but it depends on you.
On us? You witnessed the events. You just demonstrated our relentless descent into self-destruction.
Precisely. These are the consequences of your own actions. Death, famine, disease, all plague humanity because you cultivated them through your choices.
Death and famine I comprehend, but disease? Man did not create illness. We lack that power.
I did not create humans with diseases. You transgressed Earth's boundaries. You slaughtered species not intended for consumption, consumed their flesh, occupied pristine regions, deforested lands, and cultivated toxic plants. Earth itself delivered a just response for your overreach.
Now you blame Earth? It is an inanimate object drifting through space.
Earth possesses its own life. It lacks human free will, but shares similarities with animals and has its own needs. You should know this planet is the largest living being I created.
Life? You are God. You must know life's definition.
I know one definition involves reproduction, but Earth is unique and does not reproduce.
It is regrettable you cannot comprehend your own planet. Since your existence, Earth has never ceased its functions. Should it stop, you perish. You depend entirely on it and its resources. Increased extinction directly impacts your lives. Diseases and natural disasters are consequences of human actions.
All our illnesses stem from our thirst for discovery, for exploring new frontiers. So our pursuit of knowledge causes humanity's catastrophe?
Had you accepted my presence, I would have transmitted all knowledge. None of this would have occurred. Earth, too, is my creation, as is everything upon it. I established limits for every species during this planet's conception, humanity included. Imbalance invites calamity. I set nature's boundaries and taught you to respect them. Unlike irrational animals, you ignored my teachings. I created nothing for destruction. All was made in harmony.
So we inhabit a ticking time bomb.
Consider the alternative. You have overcome every crisis and hardship. This satisfies me greatly. You demonstrated wisdom, curiosity, creativity, and resilience.
You are correct, but I must insist, for I fail to understand why do you not act? Why not recreate what we destroyed? Why not return, dwell among us, and teach us to live in this world?
I have told you. I granted you free will. Everything you touch or perceive becomes an unpredictable variable in the future which I cannot see or alter. I cannot act to destroy you. I cannot change the realities you have modified. This is a barrier I imposed to ensure your genuine freedom. But freedom carries a price and responsibilities. You know humanity's current state and the cost of your irresponsibility.
Then why not come to us and teach? Show us what you showed me. Speak to us as you have to me. I believe humanity would understand and we could truly evolve.
I have told you that I walked among you as a man. I have done so repeatedly, the last instance millennia ago. I have stated I will return, but only after you have evolved independently.
You know that is impossible. We have not evolved. We have regressed since our creation.
That is untrue. Humanity has endured terrible periods, neared extinction multiple times. Your resilience and resourcefulness are remarkable.
The man raised his left hand near my face. I found myself in an open field. A few trees dotted the landscape surrounded by hills and mountains. A cluster of huts, surrounded by a stone wall, stood near a river descending from a mountain. Few people were visible. Tranquility reigned. Where are we? What will you show me?
Be patient, he said, gazing toward the horizon.
A distant rumble grew steadily louder. Horsemen crested the surrounding hills, charging toward a small village. Suddenly we were near the huts. The approaching cavalry was terrifying. Women and children fled in panic. Some hid in tents, others scaled walls, fled into fields, hid among trees, or attempted to cross the river. Fear was palpable in every gaze. Men, gripping swords, trembled with terror but held their ground, eyes locked on the enemy.
Bloody battles were commonplace throughout history.
Violence continued with peacekeepers being employed brutally. Horsemen encircled the settlement, swords drawn. Women pushed women and children into huts, dragging them hurriedly. Despite their efforts, no one escaped the assault. Few defenders stood against the horde. Women were assaulted while watching their husbands and children slaughtered. Livestock and crops were destroyed. Men set fire to horses, sending them stampeding through tents wherever they fell. The walls were quickly breached by men wielding a battering ram. No one in the village survived, not even the animals. What kingdom attacks a small village with such brutal force?
The first kingdom established by those who exiled me. They devastated countless regions, committed horrendous acts. Earth itself halted them, erasing them from history. By then, other groups existed worldwide, forming the nations you know. This kingdom's distinction was its rapid development. Its people mastered many skills, including writing, a first for that era.
The man turned toward me. Darkness enveloped us, then instantly gave way to blinding sunlight.
We are flying over the region where the first kingdoms emerged.
The landscape blurred past. Plumes of smoke dotted the fields, forests, and mountains.
The first kingdom is already dividing for various reasons: disputes, territory, inheritance. Many nations formed from groups lost in the wilderness, surviving for years. These scattered peoples founded the nations you recognize.
Why? How does a nation form successfully by accident, while an advanced, expanding group leaves no legacy?
You will have your answer soon.
I accelerated, covering a vast expanse. Numerous villages were now established.
Humanity has fractured into countless small groups. Most did not survive long. Their stories were lost to water and earth. But the primary cause for the demise of these early villages was human violence, the ambition to possess what others had toiled to acquire.
I was pulled backward as daylight faded. I now stood inside a large hut, where men sat on skins.
This is the genesis of the kingdom you witnessed attacking villages.
They argued intensely. Their eyes burned with desire for greatness and greed. Life meant nothing compared to the riches they coveted.
These men killed for a single skin. Imagine their plans for wealthier villages. This kingdom grew faster than others. They mastered writing, domesticated various animals, and forged deadlier weapons: spears, swords, axes. They understood their power, knowing none could oppose them and live. From that moment, invasions, death, and pillaging became routine.
A cacophony of screams, clashing steel, flames, and fire filled my senses. The stench of death and burning flesh was overwhelming.
Other factions soon formed within the kingdom, not for plunder, but for slaughter. They developed a taste for massacre, reveling in fire, screams, and destruction. More than a kingdom, it became the wealthiest and cruelest nation.
But historical records lack such terrible events.
In that era, despite writing, few records were kept. Much later, the Arabs began systematic recording as you know it. Everything you see here turned to ash years later. Not a skin, weapon, or ornament survived.
Where are the records?
This nation transgressed Earth's limits. I must show you what happened for you to understand its erasure from history.
He placed us near a great mountain. Stone walls, houses, and huts stood behind them, even a crude castle of piled stones.
This kingdom's technology and wisdom grew rapidly, while others stagnated. You see a kingdom built on the blood of men, women, and children. The first great kingdom, humanity's initial taste of destruction.
They built castles? Why no evidence? A disaster might kill people, but something should remain.
This was their stronghold. Before attacking the mountain village, they were scattered worldwide. But upon seeing this place, they united here, establishing a capital, a nation with one language and ruler. Many died in the process. Opposing leaders were brutally murdered, their possessions brought here. Years later, the capital was built with no other people for hundreds of kilometers. No one witnessed this great nation's end.
I flew over the mountain. Smoke rose from below. Approaching, I saw hot springs where leaders lounged with women.
This supposed paradise was the mouth of one of Earth's largest volcanoes. They exceeded the boundaries of Earth and humanity. Earth would inevitably demand retribution for such audacity.
The sun set. A deep rumble emanated from beneath the rocks. Jets of boiling water erupted from the mountaintop. Hot springs flashed into steam.
Men, women, and children screamed in agony, scalded to death in seconds.
Waters that once provided pleasure now bring pain and death. All animals recognize this limit, except for the most rational.
Everyone died from boiling water? That wouldn't erase their history.
Their entire existence was concentrated here. All technology, records, elders. Earth knew this.
The rumble intensified into a powerful earthquake. Stones collapsed, crushing those beneath.
Witness the culmination of millennia of construction.
Fissures spiderwebbed the kingdom, glowing incandescently. A tremendous explosion. Lava walls surged through the cracks. I was pulled back, viewing the scene from above. Lava walls encircled the entire kingdom, consuming everything. The interior sank gradually into a lake of fire. Ash plumed skyward, smoke blanketing the region. Dawn revealed a devastated landscape.
This scene remained etched in Earth's atmosphere for days. Not only here. Volcanoes erupted globally. Earth was enraged with humanity. It was a warning to the survivors. Thousands perished in the ensuing days. Earth exacted payment for millennia of human transgressions.
My mind was inundated with visions, seen through the eyes of humans who experience Earth's wrath. I could comprehend their thoughts, mostly fear and confusion. How many years separate this event from the present?
Approximately 72,000 years.
In such a distant past, I'm amazed anyone survived such a cataclysm.
Humanity is more resilient and cunning than you imagine, adapting to worse situations without prior knowledge. I would have taught survival skills, but long ago they exiled me, stagnating their knowledge. As I said, Arabs were among the first to heed my signs, hence their historical advancement. I taught them secrets that other peoples debated centuries later. For example, Earth's sphericity. Arabs knew this long before Europeans discussed it. Even those claiming to believe in me rejected a spherical Earth, persecuting and killing those who defended the truth.
You show me a history I cannot verify. Not the Arabs, but this catastrophe erasing the first kingdom. How can I trust this isn't a fabricated vision to make me believe?
The man raised his hand.
I wish to show you the past, humanity's bloody, catastrophic events. You will soon understand the purpose. Since you distrust my visions, let us examine history you can verify in your books. It is sad you trust human scholars over a god's testimony.
A finger snap, another mental jolt. I stood between two clashing armies. Men armed with spears and swords slaughtered each other, screams and cries echoing. The sound of clashing blades filled the air, rivers of blood staining the ground.
The Third Battle of Panipat. Approximately 70,000 corpses littered this soil.
Thousands of men fought, shields deflecting blows. One side gained dominance. A whistling sound echoed over the bodies. A rain of arrows struck the combatants, piercing them. Another cavalry army appeared on the horizon, charging the battlefield. Hundreds of spearmen braced for the unexpected assault. I lost track of sides, attackers, defenders, all were painted in blood. As horses were impaled and riders trampled spearmen, the scene froze. I was drenched in blood.
You witness only the beginning of the battle.
Days flashed by. I stood in a field with thousands of men kneeling, some in torn robes, others naked. Cries and screams echoed in my mind as if from the heavens, the sound of men being tortured and executed.
After the battle, many were captured. Men, women, children. Everything was condemned to a terrible end.
I stood surrounded by corpses. Silence replaced the desperate screams.
Countless battles scarred history. This was one. I will show you others equally horrendous.
Another snap. I stood on a riverbank, a large army surrounding a smaller group near the water. The troops clashed fiercely. Horses, spears, bows, swords. Men were beheaded and dismembered.
Blood gushed into the river with every sword stroke.
The Battle of the Daya River. Crystal waters turned red. Thousands of bodies floated downstream.
A blink, and I was elsewhere, flying over trees. The river was visible in the distance. A roar echoed across the field. Men shouted from harpists. Hundreds of armored elephants marched toward a large army, dividing to engage. Spearmen stood ready. The sound of drawn bowstrings was the last I heard before a soldier's scream. Amid the chaos, I followed each man, fiercely gripping his sword. The charging cavalry divided, attacking the flanks. Some spearmen relocated to reinforce the defense as the armored elephants advanced. A scream! A cloud of arrows darkened the sky, their sharp points felling elephant drivers. Some animals fled. Others continued their march, leaving corpses in their wake. The battle reached the river. Just as I thought the bloodshed was ending, cavalry emerged from all sides, attacking the remaining troops and elephants. Tens of thousands of men were cornered by the river, beheaded. Their heads sank into the deepening red water. An apocalyptic scene, a sea of corpses, smoke, a bloody river. Another snap. I saw an army engulfed by a powerful current from a destroyed dam. In the distance, an army advanced on the few survivors.
The Battle of Salsu. Over 300,000 men drowned.
I felt as if I were among the bodies, pushed by the current, though I was far away, flying over the destroyed dam. Yet I felt the cold water shaking me. A blank, and I was surrounded by corpses, hearing nearby moans. Soldiers passed with spears, ignoring pleas for mercy, piercing everyone. Blood gushed from the spear shafts. The men laughed, killing all survivors. Another snap. I saw a large army besieging a kingdom. Soldiers held the gates. Others defended the walls, but the attackers pressed the siege. After days without supplies, the defenders surrendered. Thousands died by the sword. Screams echoed from the remnants of the city walls. Despite surrender, the troops brutalized soldiers and civilians. I saw hidden children, women, and elderly, but there was no salvation. The troops found them and advanced on the defenseless. Stop! I can't bear this horror! I covered my eyes, turning away, begging for it to end. But my ears seemed to see. My mind materialized the atrocities. Screams echoed in my head until the moans ceased.
Such scenes repeated endlessly throughout history. The siege of Baghdad, thousands of civilian deaths, just one of many brutal wars. As you see, compared to today's world, humanity has evolved.
Humanity? Evolved? Rage choked me. We haven't evolved at all. I know we caused past catastrophes, but that doesn't diminish current ones. And Hitler, the Second World War, is that evolution? He was another example of humanity's horror, just as the Second World War was an era where evil men gained power. Hitler was terrible, but not alone. Many beside him were equally or more depraved. He moved us to a calm location.
See beyond that road? A Nazi concentration camp. One of humanity's worst atrocities, committed by men who called themselves scientists. In science's name, they performed horrors. The Nazi end was clear: self-destruction. Believe me, men as evil as Hitler existed before and after him. The difference is how much power society grants these potential catastrophes. But historically, such terrible events are decreasing. The ratio of potential human horrors to virtuous men has fallen dramatically because many, like you, work, live, and empathize with the suffering.
Impossible. News today is filled with disasters, wars, death, and disease. Nothing's improving.
Your current reality pales in comparison to the past. Your perception is magnified by intensive media coverage. I repeat, humanity is improving.
Nuclear weapons, mass destruction. How is that improvement if we seek self-destruction?
You possess the capacity for self-destruction, a power of free will. You can modify everything you touch, build or destroy. Despite this power, it has yet happened. You decide whether to continue, to use your power to dominate others, or evolve together through agreements, focusing on your needs and weaknesses, improving society. I intend to return, to walk with you again, guiding your evolution. But as I said, it depends more on you than on me.
This free will you gave us is the root of all misery. Can't you see you're to blame?
You are looking in the wrong direction. Free will enables not only atrocities, but also wonders and good deeds. When many grant power to one person, they transfer their free will to a representative who can use it for good or evil. If you focus on good causes and people, society evolves. The opposite is also true. This demonstrates evolution. Power was once transferred through violence and force, now mostly through unity, democracy. This is near optimal evolution. Progress depends on all people.
If it depends on us, why did you walk among us and why did it fail each time? What do you see in us to help? What did we do to deserve such misery?
My first example is the Arabs, whom I mentioned because they listened and learned from me. But over time, seeking to propagate my knowledge and glorify my existence, they saw opportunities for advantage over others. Envy and greed always corrupt human thought. They propagated ideas I never taught, made demands I never required. Worst, they killed for rights I never granted. I tried to stop them, but they no longer wanted me. They wanted things they called me but were not. They worshipped their own egos, believing it was the creator within them.
As I recall, Arabs had great scientific evolution, then stagnated.
Exactly. With me, they evolved. Without me, they stagnated. They rejected me. Their deities became themselves. They wanted their lives, power, knowledge. I gave it willingly. Watching them grow was magnificent, but seeing them fall to ambition revealed the sadness of human desire. They used my name as a crown, imposing their desires and obligations on others who heard of me.
They distorted the Creator's idea to control believers? Nothing has changed. I don't want to discuss modern religious disgrace. I want to know what we need for you to be with us for real evolution.
You must choose goodness independently. See the world as your home, everything around you as valuable, your fellow humans as yourselves. Love is creation's answer. If you love others as yourselves, humanity will become welcoming, offering opportunities to the disadvantaged. With universal cooperation, evolution in all areas is possible.
Do you believe that's possible?
It depends largely on you. The future is uncertain, but your existence is secure for now if you continue evolving.
You keep saying it depends on us. You're here stating that all humanity must change its worldview. I don't represent society, nor do I want to. World leaders disgust me. Why did you bring me here?
Finally, a question about yourself. You know who you are, what you want from life, yet you doubt your potential as a teacher.
I'm a university professor and researcher, a mere philosopher. After graduating and working, I just want a peaceful life.
Have you achieved it?
How can anyone find peace in such a disordered world?
So peace isn't in your achievements or livelihood.
Peace eludes me because the world's grandeur and its oppressive weight on society torment me.
That is why I came to your window. You recognize the problem, know history and science intimately. You have immense potential as an agent of peace and global awareness.
Of the world? I'm just a teacher.
If people understood their potential, they wouldn't doubt the greatness they can achieve. After all I've shown you, the universe's scale and complexity, I've devoted significant attention to humanity. Why? You are unaware of your power to create and modify what the Creator allows. Do you still believe you lack the potential to rise from the deepest abyss and reach the heavens?
Frankly, I believe humanity has immense capacity, but it's directed towards evil.
Can you not direct your capacity towards good? Be an influencer, guiding society to channel its experts accordingly.
A teacher only influences students under his tutelage.
Your unseen potential is like the man rising from the abyss to the sky. You're on the verge of decisions that could alter society's course.
I don't see it. How can I alter society? Well, then show me.
Darkness, the sound of opening doors, people walking around me, then silence. What's happening? I'm surrounded, but I can't see. My vision cleared slowly, still blurry. I strained to see until I heard a man's voice. Wait, I'm hearing myself. My vision sharpened instantly. I was in a classroom, seated among my students. The man beside me. The confusion of seeing myself speak tangled my thoughts. Recovering, I found my other self staring directly at me, eyes wide, unblinking, not breathing. A weight pressed on my throat.
Don't worry, he cannot see us. These chairs are empty. It's crowded today. Students from other classes came. Luckily, these seats were free, or we'd be watching from the door.
When did this happen? I don't recall other classes visiting.
It hasn't.
What?
This is the future.
But if you can't predict our futures, how can you show me mine?
This is the future extrapolated from the present. If everyone here and those involved continue as intended, this will be your class tomorrow.
What if someone changes their mind?
Depending on who and how, it could mean someone sitting elsewhere or everyone dead outside this room. Dead?
My stomach churned. I scanned the room, twisting in my chair, remembering every face, their laughter, their voices echoing in my mind. The thought of their potential deaths formed a knot in my throat. Tears streamed down my face.
Don't despair. Such drastic change is unlikely. Tomorrow will likely resemble today. For example, see Elise? She has a cold, sneezing all class because she visited her sick brother yesterday.
I heard her sneeze, but something else caught my attention. My other self in front of the class wore a slight smile. Why am I smiling at a sneeze?
Tomorrow you'll understand. Of course, she might not come if she chooses to rest.
My mind was cluttered, nauseated, burdened.
Breathe. These sensations need not persist. Remember our journey. Is this not enough to stabilize you?
My heart raced. Heavy remorse filled my chest.
Be calm. I brought you here to show you who you're teaching. My vision moved through the classroom, floating over heads, spinning to the front. The man pointed. See Elise? She will pursue political science, aiming to lead the UN. She has great potential and sees you as a university role model. That's why she came despite her cold. He pointed across the room. In the back is Marcos, quiet but attentive. He excels in philosophy and has a writing gift. His potential is to author books and articles impacting society, influencing his generation.
He moved behind me, speaking near my ear.
In front is an exemplary astronomy student. She's been studying for 5 years, graduating soon. She plans to join NASA, collaborating on universal observations. She's here today to request thesis guidance on astronomy's societal impact.
He pointed beside her. I saw a friend, a physical chemistry professor.
Your friend Lucas will soon become this university's director. He has a broad social vision for student and public awareness. Young, he could direct other universities applying similar concepts. Crucially,
He sees you as an example and wants you as his right hand in an educational program for needy families, maximizing student potential, leveling upward.
What about those who can't develop well? Are they discarded?
You know we cannot ignore anyone, regardless of physical or intellectual traits. That's why your role as Lucas's right hand is vital. Everyone has immense capacity, a gift. Through observation, students can be relocated to excel elsewhere.
So dividing the class is important from that perspective.
Dividing by knowledge, but uniting in humanity's evolution, each contributing differently.
No contribution is valueless. Regardless of work, everyone can cooperate in maintenance and growth, reflecting social equality if all contribute without corruption.
This is achievable with the collaboration of everyone here today.
Sorry, but I'm stuck on one thought. If I'm with people who can change the world, how can you guarantee this future, since it's unknown to you?
The future is unknown, but the present is real. Current potentials indicate society's direction.
And I'm responsible for creating these potentials?
You already are. You're part of their lives, as they are of yours. Otherwise, why cry at their potential deaths?
But how can I change the world with one classroom?
When did you imagine learning such specific universal creation and history details? I brought you here so you understand your knowledge and teaching can change the world, proving scientific truths, changing students' realities, eternalizing words in books. These are just a few students with great potential. Look at this auditorium size, the possibilities, the changes starting here.
So you took me to creation's confines to direct great minds here, so they believe I travel universes through words.
You can show everyone that society can evolve further, that the universe is vast, and that humanity is greater than all universes combined.
If I struggle to believe what I saw, how can I make them believe? I exclaimed.
You need only show each one their growth direction. Each here can see part of what I showed you, making others see beyond that. Thus, what you saw with me becomes truth. Knowledge builds over generations. Through it, society improves. Via politics, social interaction, philosophy, or science. Some words eternalized can improve the world's course.
Flashes filled my vision. Those students as influential leaders, awarded for discoveries, speaking my name in speeches. More, I saw crowds citing my friends and students, celebrating discoveries and human progress.
This could be the future.
A teacher's hard work fruiting. I was still processing the visions, barely hearing him. Another snap? The room was empty. Silence cleared my mental clutter.
Do you understand your power? More, do you believe humanity can change everything?
I understand an educator's power and how we influence our future.
You know that despite this journey, the potential remains true. Even without knowing creation's mysteries or human evolution, you as a teacher hold your students' lives. More, you influence those they teach, those who read their books. Not just you, every person has power and potential.
I also know this potential can be misused.
Do not let always transcend the past or the future. Don't let the past prevent transforming your students' minds.
How can I ignore the history I know?
Remember what you saw today. Focus on the future, not yours or your circles, but society's potential evolution.
You showed me a future present here, yet say it can change. How can you be sure it won't?
Society is vast and complex. An action's chain reaction is hard to break. Everything you do today echoes eternally. You may not be remembered, but others will live by your act's echo.
So this is a simulation based on past events?
It's not a simulation. It's the future. I didn't create this with variables. I moved through time, and we are above the future.
So your future predicting power is like this.
Omniscience.
How do you modify it?
Here, it's difficult. Everything was created by humans with free will.
But exceptions exist, lost objects. I can move or remove them. I can also make new things appear, never seen or touched by humans. Their future is malleable to my power.
So free will is the power to modify the present permanently? And you, God, can't change that.
Do you still doubt your potential, your students, your friends? Remember the history I showed you. Evil men did terrible things, still affecting your reality, just as good men greatly contributed to society's evolution. Don't think a past man had more potential than you or anyone. Everyone has the same power. The difference is its use.
How can I prove everything you say is true, that I have such power?
You need not prove anything. You are a teacher, an influencer. A leader has great power to change, but a societal influencer can inspire thousands of leaders with thoughts and teachings.
But how can I believe it's true that I can use what I saw to change the world?
It's simple. Return to your life and believe.
The man raised his right hand and snapped his fingers. Darkness. I opened my eyes. The alarm clock blared in the distance. Daylight filled the room. I sat up startled, disoriented. My mind was reeling. My vision was blurred. Gradually, my faculties returned, and I realized I had just woken up. I fell asleep quickly for once, but with a dream like that, it must have been deep. I reached for the nightstand to silence the alarm. My hand swept through empty air, and I nearly tumbled out of bed. Where's the alarm clock? I sat up, searching properly. I thought it had fallen. The sound was muffled. My head spun. I leaned over the mattress, feeling under the bed. Nothing. I stood, disoriented, searching until my eyes fell on the window. The window was open. Curtains swaying gently and the morning breeze flowing into my room. 7 o'clock. The alarm clock sat on the windowsill. My vision cleared instantly. My heart pounded, seeing that small, impossible detail from my dreams. It can't be. I could have sleepwalked, but not since I was 13. I rushed to my computer, remembering the wars the man had mentioned. What were they? Battle of Salsu. I opened a tab. Panapat War. Another. Daya River War. Another. Siege of Baghdad. I read about each battle. The Siege of Baghdad, the Daya River, the Third Battle of Panapat, the Battle of Salsu. Memories stormed my mind. My stomach churned at the recalled atrocities. My mind spun, remembering every detail. The universe, that man. I should go to work. Maybe the subway ride to the university will clear my head. I packed my things, flashes of the dream haunting me. I brushed my teeth, the universe livid in my mind. I dressed, the image of the pillars of creation's destruction reverberating. I rushed out, barely remembering to lock the door. My mind was so cluttered with dream memories, I hardly registered my journey. But I found myself seated on an empty subway bench. My head throbbed painfully. I couldn't think straight. Barely aware of my surroundings, a familiar voice echoed in my mind.
Breathe. You will return to your world. I inhaled deeply, as if drawing all the air from the subway car into my lungs. Exhaling, a weight lifted from my head. Lucidity returned. The subway was stopping at my station. I walked out calmly, heading to the university. Entering my room, I grabbed the auditorium key. My class started in 5 minutes. My mind was serene. I walked to the auditorium, hearing footsteps and muffled voices. Arriving, I saw a crowd of students and teachers waiting. I opened the door with a strange déjà vu, leaving me disoriented. I organized my materials on the desk. I looked up, greeting everyone. The auditorium was truly packed. My gaze swept the room, fixing on 2 empty chairs. It can't be. I was there. A sneeze. I located the source, Elise, wiping her nose with a tissue. A wave of happiness washed over me.
In that moment, everything became clear. The vastness of the universe, the weight of human history, the burden of free will, it all converged into this single point of understanding. I looked at their faces, each one a universe of potential, and knew with absolute certainty that the power to change humanity's course wasn't in some distant divine intervention, but right here, in this room, in every mind waiting to be awakened. Today, I'll introduce this class discussing education, its history and evolution in humanity. But more, I wish to highlight education's power in humanity, its influence on great leaders, and a healthy civilization's growth.
Want to dive deeper into incredible stories? Check out author Thiago Saza's books, available on Amazon Kindle. Beyond these philosophical reflections, you'll find action-packed adventures, gripping mysteries, and extraordinary tales. If you enjoyed this philosophical journey and were captivated by these revelations, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and share this video with someone who's also searching for answers about life and our place in the universe. Thank you so much for watching until the end. Having you on this journey makes everything more meaningful. See you in the next video.